What's up, guys? My name is John Ramirez, and I play guitar for Deadroom sessions. Tapes. When's the last time you seen one of those guys, huh? My old Sony Discman release mixer I bought. It came with Cubase Lite Edition back in like 2006 or something like that. I got the good old EVH 50 watt. This is a L6 version. It's not the EL34 version that just came out. And then I got this guitar cab. Is the cheaper version of the Marshall cabs. It came with the MG100 solid state amp. I originally had the Marshall MG100 head, but I wanted to go tube, so I got this bad boy for $600 on Craigslist. I have no speakers on the bottom. Well, actually, I do have speakers, but they're not connected. And those are the original MG speakers that came with the cab. But on the top, I got two Eminence Texas Patriot speakers. And those things are amazing. They're 16 ohms each. So the only thing powered on this cab is those two Patriot Eminence speakers. I got these mics here. This mic is something else. Okay, here we go. So this mic is an Old Techniques dynamic mic. And I actually had two of them. But I lost one. In some band. I think the singer kept it, but that was a band it was a metalcore band I was in 2009. But this is an Old Dynamics Techniques mic, made in Japan. It comes off the 1991 Techniques home studio surround system. It was like a 5-piece unit, and it was expensive back then. But this is where this mic comes from. My favorite mic. It's my favorite on-stage mic, and whenever I sing, I use this mic. This is the generic mic that they sell at Guitar Center or Sam Ash. It's the Samson. It came with a bag. It came with its own mic clip. Whatever that's worth. But I've seen them today, and they're going for $100 for 3 of these suckers. It's not a bad deal. Audix OM2. I don't really use this mic too much. A buddy of mine gave it to me. It's a good mic. I also have this. Came in this nifty bag. This audix kick drum mic. I don't know why my camera's acting so funky. Audix F14. I've used this before. It's supposed to get lower frequencies is what my buddy said. I've used it for my brother's kick drum. It's not too bad. Yeah, so those are my mics. I got 3 of them. I need to get a few more of them, because what I plan to do is leave that always hooked up for just live recording sessions. I'll have a mic here. I have maybe 2 mics on the drums, something simple, and a mic by the vocals. The good old 646. I love this thing. Feels really good to be able to play with something, not have a mouse and an interface. You can actually, it's in person, so it's really cool to have that. We could play something on it real quick. Oh, somebody might ask about my headphones. Ultrasone DJ1 Pro. Pretty good. A gift from my buddy. Okay, so I have the outputs on RCAs from the back, going into the input of the RCAs on my mixer. And from there I have a main control out, and that's going to this really old ass PV monitor that I traded for my MG 100, which I kind of regret now, because there was nothing wrong with that MG. I just felt like a stigma to have it, but this thing cranks. If you run it off a mixer, it'll crank. It sounds a little muffled. I think it needs to have like a recap, they call it. Change out the capacitors, but I mean, it does the job for vocals. Like I said, you got to run it through a PA system. I mean, a mixer. You got to run it through a mixer. If you run it straight through, it doesn't sound as loud. Ask me why, I don't know. On the back, so it's got two outputs for two speakers, but it's got a funny switch in there so that if you only have one cable connected and it connects to the cab, it'll utilize both outputs into one. And if you connect both cables into its own individual cord jack, then it'll switch over and it'll use them individually. So it's got that in there. It must be some kind of analog switch, but the way I'm using it now is I'm going off the ports in the back, two of them, like I said. It's got 1 and 2 here, monster cables, and that goes to the back of that fender cap. Now this is a fender cap I bought in high school. It's the Ultimate Chorus. You can see that there. But this thing, I mean, it sounded really good when I first had it. I kept overheating and popping capacitors. I don't know if I was cranking it too high, but the guy who fixed it the first time said I should install a computer fan in there. I never did. And I popped more capacitors and I just said screw it. So this is simply a speaker cab. It's an open back. None of these controls work. Everything's all gutted out. So it's just the cab for this monitor. And the connections are in the front. Like I said, it has no power supply, nothing. It's just got 2 speakers. And they are the MG series speakers that came off my Marshall cab. So the frequency on this isn't too good for playback on your music, but it gives me a general idea. That's why I have my headphones here, because I usually listen to the playback on the headphones. But we'll go ahead and listen to this. So I haven't learned this whole unit completely, but I got the basics down. So this is a reset on the timer. And this is RTZ, which is return to 0 for this timer. These are the individual tracks you can record on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure how to use 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. I'm not sure how to use those yet, but I'm sure I'll get there. So I rewound it all back, and it's still got 12 seconds, so I'll put that as 0. I know on this track I got a funky extra track on this, so it's nothing better than having that cool saturation from tape. It's got this nice wavelength to it. You can't get that off digital. So that was that. So I could reset it here, but if I simply push return to 0, RTZ, it'll take me back to wherever I reset 0 at. That's kind of cool. This is my pedal board here. For this pedal board, I'm missing a few things on it still. Well, everyone's got that chromatic tuner. This is the first one. The second one I feel is a little better. And then I got an old Ibanez analog delay, which I don't use. I only use it for one song. It's got that distinctive wah. If you give it that feedback, it will give you that wah that people create with it. It's so distinctive. It's a good pedal. It's a little springy on the delay. Really not my style. This phase shifter I love. I use it a lot. Especially the new it's called the step stage. I like it. It sounds computery. And I got the TC Helicon R1. I use that for live shows because a lot of the people that throw the shows, they're usually supply the PA system, and a lot of them don't have any vocal effects on their PA system, so I'm a big fan of Hall on my vocals. So when I do sing, I take this. I got my EQ in there, my EVH pedal controller. What I'm missing is the TC Electronics T2 pedal, reverb pedal, and the TC Electronics Ditto looper pedal, so I can fill in those empty spots because we don't have a bassist. And I think I could fit in there the Dunlop Crybaby 105Q bass wah. I like it because it doesn't have that button to turn it off or on. It's just, I don't know how it does it, but it's got this activated laser or something in there where it senses when it's on or off. It'll just engage. Like I said, I used it before back in my metalcore band, or in my metalcore days. I hate when people say my band. But anyways, that's my pedal board. This is my brother's drum set. Now this drum set, see, it's the old Tama Rockstar, and we just played a show, I think last month, and he bought all new drum heads. He bought them all black. Looks pretty sick. Let me see if you get a good picture of this sucker. There you go. Okay, so my camera stopped recording. I have no idea where it stopped recording at, so I'm just going to keep going. Anyways, I was saying, this is my first guitar. It's the Epiphone. I think it's called the SG310, I think it is, or G310. But what makes this Epiphone a little different is the spacing between the tom bridge and the first pickup. It's supposed to be the replica from the 60s, but boy, this is really different. This tom bridge here on the normal SGs, it's actually pushed up about an inch. So essentially, when you're palm muting, you're actually picking somewhere in the middle on the original SG. On this one, without extending your fingers on the palm mute, you're actually palm muting on this pickup here, which gives it a different sound. You could palm mute up here, but you have to really stretch your fingers. I got short fingers and a small hand, so that's the difference between the G310 and the standard SG. This guitar sounds freaking amazing. I put a lot of work into it, or a lot of personalization. I used a poly brush on for this neck because it used to be red, and I sanded it way down. It's the original color here, and I put that poly brush on, and it thickened up the tone on the neck for sure. If you can see it here, but and I actually did this the headstock too. It came out like crap. But this guitar sounds so deep, so deep. I think it's because of the body. This body's a lot heavier than that SG. I think it's because that's a two layer wood, and this might be a 3, and it's just freaking heavy. It's so heavy compared to this SG faded. Another thing I like about this guitar is that I eliminated 2 of the knobs, so it only has 1 volume and 1 tone for both pickups. And this guitar has 2 bridge pickups. It's got a, damn it, it's a Seymour Duncan SH14, I think, is in the neck. And got the X2N DiMarzio on the bridge. And it sounds killer. It sounds so dirty. It sounds killer on this guitar. So what I went ahead and did is, when I bought my real SG, I bought another DiMarzio X2N, and it did not have the same sound as this Epiphone. That is for sure. Did not. This guitar has such a bright sound. This Gibson here. This is the difference I was telling you. See how this tom bridge is pushed up next to the pickup? It's actually sitting within the pick guard, which I never noticed that. And this one here, it sits below the pick guard. See that? So, anyways, this guitar is ridiculously light compared to that Epiphone. It's so light. It doesn't have any paint on it. It's all bare. I think it just has some kind of finish on it on the wood, but there's no paint on it. The only paint that it has is the paint that I gave it, which is this black on the bottom half of the guitar. It's got it all around. So many people have this guitar. I just wanted to make it look a little different. I played a show and 2 of us had the same exact guitar. So for the next show I just painted it. But I did the same thing with this guitar. I took off the knobs and I went 1 volume, 1 tone. And I bought a brand new X2N, and it sounded so bright, so freaking bright. I didn't like it actually, because I was so used to that Epiphone sound. And not that it was a bad sound, but it was so different from my Epiphone sound. So what I had to do is I had to go tone searching, which sucked, because everybody knows tone searching just fucking blows. But I found out what the problem was. I found out what was making it so bright compared to my Epiphone. And what I figured out was, besides the body not having all the coatings like the standards or this Epiphone here, it's actually really thin as well compared to that Epiphone. Like I said, I think this is a 2 layer and those are 3. And the other problem was this hardware here. See those aluminum spacers underneath the tailpiece and the tom bridge? I made those. Now the problem was that there was tone loss between the tom, the tailpiece, and the thin screws transitioning into the body. Now, if you got a Faden or a SG Gibson, take a look at these screws here, and they are freaking thin. Like there's no resonance going in between the tom and the body. It just gets lost. So you get this bright tone. A lot of people like that. I'm pretty sure I couldn't got used to it, but I was so used to this Epiphone and how deep it sounded. I wanted the same out of my Gibson. So I went ahead and made these spacers, and it made a world of difference. It's not as warm sounding as my Epiphone, but it did make a big difference as far as resonance and tone warmth. So it worked out pretty good. I actually sell these on eBay. I'll put the link in the description. They're only $10, but it does a world of difference. So it's definitely recommended. All my guitars have those what are they called? Those strap locks. Let's see if you can see it. They all got them. This guitar is just beat up, but it's my favorite. It's old trusty. So that's got it, and this one's got it. So whenever I play a show, I usually take this Epiphone here is tuned to drop D, and then this red Gibson is tuned to drop C sharp. So whenever I need to switch guitars, I just take it off and put on the next one. I just have one strap. It's a couch strap. Made in LA. Love this strap. I've had it for years. And then you got that stupid snark. Sometimes I don't trust that snark, man. The thing I like about the snark is you can change the hertz on it. You got a pretty wide spectrum on the hertz for the snark. You could go all the way down to 432, go up to 440, past 440. This one, this chromatic tuner, you can't go down to the 430s. Don't ask me why you'd want to go there, but you can't. Anyways. Okay, so my camera's been acting a little funky. It was cutting in and out of recording. I don't know why. But yeah, this was my studio. Please like and subscribe to this new channel. It's going to be about a lot of my hobbies. This being one of them, music. The other one, I do a lot of car fabricating, I guess, for BMWs, E36s. With my buddy Raul from Big Duck Club. Look him up at Big Duck Club, Instagram. And I do a lot of hiking with my buddy June, which I'm sure you'll see him on the videos from time to time. And Party Down with my brother who plays drums. So yeah, that's what this channel will be mostly about. So yeah, like and subscribe and get more videos up for you guys. Peace.